just like you got Isnad, yeah?
Right.
You have oral tradition at the beginning, and they recite the Quran, yeah? And then the families, they pass it down, and then they write the Quran, and you know, this family, that family, and it's brought down like this. That is true teaching. We have that in the Eastern Orthodox Church.
Let's pick on the Gospel of Matthew. Why do you believe it's true? Yes,
no.
Because my question is a very simple question. Why do you, if the Gospel of Matthew contains historical error, yeah, is it still reliable?
If the Bible, anywhere in the Bible, writes history that did not happen, and you can prove that did not happen, then I will not be a Christian today.
I'll give you a prime example. I'm going to use it. You know when
we need to have a conversation.
This is part. No, but I'm emphasizing and ramming home my point. Okay. So, for example, when Moses went to the sea to part the sea, what did Allah say to Moses? Sorry, strike the water with your stick. So he had to make the effort. He had to make the move. Yeah. Then Allah parted the sea. Okay. All right. So you have to make your moves, and Allah will make His move. If you don't make a move, Allah will make His move. Halas. Very easy.
That's why you was ready. You made your move. You spoke to some Muslim brothers, and you was ready, and you felt the truth.
No, there's a difference in this day and age. I'll tell you why. Because we live in the information age, and we live in a digital age, and we believe in Xbox generation. So basically, hocus pocus, miracles these days, for us, you're not going to give us nothing. I watched a program where they did all the miracles of Jesus. Turned water to vodka and coffee and this and that, walked on water, did everything. Parlor tricks. You can see today that it's not going to convince nobody. But it's the mind. So like people said to me, you don't want to be Muslim. They say it to me, you don't want to be Muslim. Do you know what my response is? Why would I want to be a Muslim?
I never said that to you.
No, but why would I want to be a Muslim?
Yeah.
Right. So when I became a Muslim, I didn't want to become a Muslim.
Yeah.
But my intellect said to me, it's the truth and you have to.
Okay, your insight.
My intellect.
Your intellect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you have the intellect here, you have the intellect, you have your desires, and you have your heart. Yeah. To become a Muslim, all three need to align.
Okay. So let's get on to, because we're going around circles. Can I go to?
I'm going to release circles, but I'm going in a straight line.
No, not really. No, because it can go deeper than that. Because your intellect can actually mislead you. So I don't want to get into that right now.
No. But how can the intellect mislead me? How has my intellect misled me?
Because you can convince yourself many things using your intellect.
Give me an example.
Rationalize yourself into
Give me an example.
All right.
Give me an example of using an internet to rationalize into a position that you know is wrong or false.
Well, you could meet a girl, and she's really nice, and you really like her, and you decide you want to marry her, but something inside saying to you, no, it's not right. But you think, well, she's this, she's that, she does this, she can cook, she can do this. She suits just right as a wife. Now, you've rationally, intellectually decided she's suitable for your lifestyle and compatibility with you. But have you checked in if there is genuine love there? So your intellect has misled you.
There's no such thing as love. Unconditional love.
No such thing
unconditional
as unconditional love.
No such thing.
So you don't unconditionally love Allah?
Unconditionally. I love Allah because He guides and creates.
Do you love Allah unconditionally?
Unconditionally?
Yeah.
No.
You don't love Him unconditionally?
No, I love Allah for what He's done for me. That's conditional.
So there's conditions to love Him?
Yes. Of course there is.
So there's a condition. So you got conditions for why you would love Allah?
Of course.
Would you say the same? Is that how you feel?
Wouldn't that make sense?
I honestly don't.
No.
Okay, if Allah says He's going to
love someone.
All right, if Allah says
genuinely to love someone, you would love them unconditionally.
Okay. So if Allah, all right,
and you wouldn't even have to roll your eyes up there to think about it.
All right, okay. If Allah says He's going to put me in hellfire, should I still love Him?
Yes.
Why?
Because if that's the will of God, then that's what you should do.
Why should I love that?
Because He knows better for you.
But why should I love that?
Because you're putting yourself first and not what God wants.
But why should I love that? You're asking the question about me.
No, you should love God. You love God.
No, why?
No.
Well, no, why should I love being put in hellfire? Why should I love the one who's put me in hellfire?
Because He's the one that knows which is best for you.
No, but why should I love... All right, now here's your problem, you see.
Ultimately.
No, because your paradigm collapses, yeah? Because I love Allah because He promised paradise.
Yeah. So you're selfish.
Yes.
Exactly.
What's your point?
So love for me is not being selfish.
Who do you love unconditionally? Who do you love unconditionally?
I love God.
You love God unconditionally?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
How do you worship God?
I bow my head down. I pray like Eastern Orthodox. Let me finish talking.
How do you worship God correctly?
Yeah. Let me finish. Isn't that right? Be respectful. I'm respectful. You asked me how I pray.
I didn't ask how you pray.
I
didn't ask how you pray.
What did you ask?
I said, how do you worship God?
How I worship Him? Sorry, yeah, you're right. I bow my head down to the ground. I pray with my heart. All right. Sometimes not necessarily with words. And always willing and want to know and ask to follow God's will.
Alhamdulillah.
Unconditionally, and I love.
How do you know that's God?
Unconditionally.
Right. How do you know the way you worship God is the correct way?
I don't love God because I want to be greedy because I want to go in paradise.
Really?
Or why
do you love God?
I don't know. No, I don't love God for fear of hell,
right,
or for greed of paradise.
Why do you love God?
I love God because of an inbuilt feeling, a supernatural feeling within my heart. It's a supernatural feeling within my heart.
So your condition.
It's like this. It's like this.
What does that mean?
It's like, I'll tell you. It's like you've never tasted honey, for example. Assume you've never tasted honey in your life. I take honey and you're explaining to me, you're asking me, what does honey taste like? Without you tasting it, I cannot explain it to words. I cannot give you rational words.
So you don't...
To direct you to know exactly.
Okay. Because I'm going to tell you now, you're a liar. You don't love God.
Okay.
Because if you loved God truly, you wouldn't ignore His messengers. But you do.
Well, I love God. I'm a human being.
You ignore His messengers.
Wait a minute. Exactly. And I need Him to save me because that's my human condition.
No, you missed the point.
No. 1 minute. You asked me a question. Let me finish my question.
No, I didn't ask a question. I made a claim.
All right, you make a claim. Right? Yeah. So I don't agree with you. I agree with you. Sorry, I agree with you that yes, I fall short of the glory of God.
Right. So you believe you love it.
I'm a human being. I've got limitations.
Okay.
I'm not perfect.
All right. So you're saying to me, you love God, yet you ignore what He says.
I don't ignore. I try and follow every day to follow God's will, but I fall short of that because I'm a human being.
Just give me 1 second. Sorry, Matt. It's been a pleasure. Give my love to Manchester as you pass it, please. Right. Listen, you ignore God.
Can we agree something?
What would you like to agree?
If you ask me questions, let me finish. If I ask you a question, I'll let you finish.
We'll agree.
That's nice. Carry on, sir.
Okay. I've not asked questions. I'm making claims. Right. You can't make the claim you love God if you ignore God. Standard. I don't believe. You might believe you can. As you like. But I think you're lying to yourself. Because if you loved God, you want to know everything God's got to tell you. You want to know everything. If this guy claims to be a messenger of God, you want to know what that message is. You don't ignore the message. So you're lying to yourself, I believe.
So that's your opinion, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Doesn't necessarily mean that's fact what you've just said. That is your opinion, how you look at these things, yeah?
Do you believe ignoring someone you love is loving them?
I don't ignore. Yeah, no, that's not. No, that's not love. That's not love. You mustn't ignore.
You mustn't ignore them.
No, that's
right. Do you ignore God?
No, I don't.
Right. So when God sends messengers, ignore that message. Are you ignoring God?
No. What's the question?
If God sends messengers and you ignore those messengers, are you ignoring God?
No.
No.
I'm not ignoring them.
Really?
Yeah.
So
there's a difference between not doing what they say and ignoring what they say.
Oh, okay. Ignoring the message.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So God sends a messenger with a message, and you ignore the message. You're ignoring God, aren't you?
If you ignore the message, you're ignoring God.
If you ignore the message, you're ignoring God. And if you ignore God, then
you're not really loving Him.
You're not loving Him.
Correct.
Right. Do you ignore Muhammad?
Yes.
Right. Therefore, you ignore God. Therefore, you don't love Him. Therefore, you lied to yourself.
Because you believe that Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the messenger of God.
Yes.
Where I don't believe that.
I know you don't. Why not?
So in your belief, you're right. My love for God, for what you believe, is not perfect. But
no. Your love for God is non-existent if you ignore His message. Clearly.
Correct.
Right. So the only problem we got now is
in your belief.
Right. No.
But in my belief.
No, in your belief.
If I'm a Christian.
No, in your belief.
In that 1 minute, as a Christian, if I
right.
Try to follow Jesus' teachings.
All right.
Try not to ignore them. Right?
What teachings?
And, to love thy neighbour.
How do you know what Jesus taught?
1 minute. That's another question. Let me finish.
All right, go on.
Yeah.
That's coming.
So when
Thy God with all thy heart, thy soul, love thy neighbour.
So,
That's the law and the prophets.
right. So if we follow that,
Heart, soul, and mind.
you said to me not to be rude. You're looking over there. So when I follow that and I try my best and I fall short and I repent and I pray and I get up every morning and I try again and I fall and I do and I'm trying to, that means I love God in my belief. So we've got a problem here, two different beliefs where we...
All right, let's do one thing then, right now then.
But I wanted to go and say...
No, all right. So let's allow the caveat. Let's imagine now, Muhammad, you don't believe he's a messenger of God. Therefore, if you don't believe he's a messenger of God, you don't need to follow that message. Therefore, you're not ignoring God. Therefore, you do love God because you're following the message of Jesus. Fair enough?
My God, yeah.
Yeah. How do you know what Jesus said?
Through the Gospels.
Why do you believe what they say?
And also, 1 minute. Number one, through the Eastern Orthodox Church, the teachings that were brought down, and from the Gospels.
Why do you believe what the Gospels say?
Sorry?
Why do you believe what the Gospels say?
So you must speak up.
Why do you believe what the Gospels say?
Because there are many reasons why. Because number one of them, there's a lot of historical evidences for that.
Which historical evidence?
Well, for example, if you pick out from the Quran things you want to say.
Stop. All right. Islam's got nothing to do with this conversation. Therefore, the Quran's got nothing to do with this conversation.
No, there is.
Nothing. What you believe has nothing to do with the Quran. What we've already clarified is you don't believe Muhammad's a messenger, therefore you don't have to follow the message, therefore you love God because you ignore that and it's false prophet. I get that. I understand that. So don't bring what he brought into the conversation. Yeah, that's fine. And we're talking about your side right now. Yeah. So don't bring that into the table. It's got nothing to do with the conversation.
Use it as an example.
No, there is no example to use.
Because your belief...
My belief's got nothing to do with what you believe. My belief has nothing to do with what you believe.
Can I finish?
Nothing.
Because I'm trying to distinguish why we go different.
What he believes has nothing to do... No. What he believes... I have to address this. What he believes has nothing to do with what the Quran says. Nothing.
Exactly, yeah.
Nothing.
Please
Okay. Does he believe the Quran is a sort of reliable source of information?
More evidence than you...
Do you believe what the... Yeah. Sorry. All right. You're saying what he says and he's not agreeing with you. So please just leave it right now. All right. So what I'm saying to you is this.
What I'm saying is...
The Quran has nothing to do... I asked you a simple question. You say the Gospels tell you what Jesus said. Why do you believe what the Gospels say? That's my point. Now, going to the Quran or the Hadith ain't going to help answer that question.
Because I follow what was passed down from the Eastern Orthodox Church.
You said that.
Down through the holy tradition.
My question is about the Gospels.
Not the tradition of man. What they teach in the church.
I get that.
From day one up to now.
I'm talking about the Gospels.
And with the eyewitnesses, just like...
Talk about the Gospels.
And from the Gospels.
Let's stay on the Gospels.
Why?
Because that's what you're quoting. Well, where else did it talk about what Jesus did?
Exactly, and this is what my point is, but are you going to interrupt me when I talk to you now?
Well, please. Okay. If I ask you a question about the Gospels...
Exactly, and this is
all
what
right.
I want to tell
How
you.
does the Eastern Orthodox Church quantify the Gospels are correct?
I'll tell you.
Go on.
Transmit us with...
Just relax a second.
I'm happy.
We're talking nice, man, respectful.
Well, could you speak to your fellow Christian to start interrupting and changing the topics?
Just stop interrupting and changing the subject.
If you want a conversation, I'll have a conversation. No problem.
Stop interrupting
Take a ticket after him, no problem.
Stop interrupting me and talking to him.
No, I have to end this. Right, go on.
Just like you have got Isnad. The Muslims have got Islam. Please don't interrupt me. If you let me finish my point, we're going to get there quicker. If you keep interrupting, we're going to get there, man.
Can you just leave Islam off the table?
No. I want to answer the way I want to answer. And if you don't like it, that's fair enough. Just like, because when I bring that example in, you'll understand the example I'm telling you. Answering it, how do I know that is why I believe in the church? Just like you got Islam, yeah?
Right.
You have oral tradition at the beginning, and they recite the Quran, yeah? And then the families, they pass it down, and then they wrote the Quran, and you know this family, that family, and it's brought down like this. That is true teaching. We have that in the Eastern Orthodox Church. There was oral tradition. There were people that, at the time they could memorize the New Testament and the sayings of Jesus, eyewitnesses, it was passed down and it was put, and they're the ones that decided to put the Bible together. That's how we know. Shaitan trying to make me squat, you know. Did I make myself clear?
No, you didn't answer my question.
Your question was, how do I know that that is the true...
That wasn't my question.
What was your point?
See, I was trying to stop you answering the wrong question, but you can say, let you finish, I'll let you finish. All right, I'll say it again to you. Why do you believe the gospel is a reliable source of information?
Because of what, that is my answer.
No, but you just use the Eastern Orthodox Church using the Gospels.
No, wait a minute, because Eastern Orthodox, I answered your question, but it was the teachers were brought down to this altar, they're the ones that put the Bible together, and that's why it's being read. Now, the monks,
what was brought?
The monks,
what was brought?
The Gospels.
Right, so stop there. So the Eastern Orthodox Church is here, and the Gospels come to them. Why are they reliable?
Because they had holy tradition, they had like his nad.
No. This is before they've arrived at the. This is before they've arrived.
No, wait a minute.
Go on.
As I said to you, just like you got Isnad to verify certain things that were put in the Quran, verify things. This is how we have it in the Orthodox Church, the holy tradition, where we know from the sayings of Jesus, right at the very beginning, when they went in the houses after the resurrection, they were talking, Jesus said this, Jesus said that, eyewitnesses around, it was verified, then you had the bishops. No, you're going to interrupt me again. Let me finish.
You're not answering my question.
No, let me finish.
All right, finish it.
So then they were put together, and then you have the Bible, they put together the Gospels like this. Then, right after that, you have, I forgot what I was going to say, see, because you interrupt my line of thought.
Okay.
You interrupt my line of thought.
All right. Are you going to answer my question?
And before you when you say something, I'm going to remember now. So we had this, and then you can even put, from the different quotes from the different monks and from the early church fathers.
Don't say it, please.
You can put most of the Bible together.
Who told you that?
Eastern Orthodox Church.
Okay, that claim's been debunked. All right, you can't take the.
Who debunked this? Some scholars, 2,000 years later.
Yes.
Nicene Father.
You want them to go back to? Yeah, you want them to go back.
Okay, who made the claim?
Anyway,
who made the claim?
Did I answer your question?
No.
Why?
Okay, because I don't think you're hearing my question. Because the Eastern Orthodox Church used the Gospels to put the Bible together, yes?
No, they put the sayings together.
Reverse.
They put it together. They put the Gospels together.
They came out of the church to be read in the church.
Are you saying that the Eastern
How did they come out of the church? Who is the church at the time?
Who was the church at the time? Yeah,
so are you saying that all right, just so I understand. So you're saying the Eastern Orthodox Church put the Gospels together?
The early church fathers at the time, the very early church, of course, who put it together? Did it come out of the sky?
Right.
It didn't come out of the sky.
Right. So just so I'm trying to understand what's going on here.
So
the Gospel of Matthew, was that put together by the Eastern Orthodox Church, or was it authored by Matthew?
From the original church, yes, from the Eastern. Well, Matthew wrote it, yeah.
Oh, Matthew wrote it.
Yeah, he wrote it.
So whose words are they?
Inspired from God.
No.
God's
right. So you're saying, so Matthew wrote it. Right. So Matthew wrote it, inspired by God, and then the Eastern Orthodox Church put that.
The eyewitnesses. They decide which book goes into the Bible, and
right. So they basically. So they look to the Gospel of
oral tradition.
So they look to the Gospel of Matthew.
How do you think Matthew? Why don't you ask the question? How did Matthew know to write down all these things? Where did he get all these sayings from? Answer me.
All right.
So I'm going before Matthew.
All right.
I'm going before Matthew. The holy tradition where they took.
You're given more evidence than he can.
I'm giving you. Thank you, sir.
His boy has no evidence.
So, just so I can understand.
Please, yeah.
You see, now you're answering my question.
No, I answered it about 10 minutes ago. For the verification, can we rewind?
Yeah, please do rewind, because the question that was asked was, why does he believe what the Gospels say? And it's continuously gone on about how the church used the Gospels. Yeah?
The sayings.
Right. So, let's pick on the Gospel of Matthew. Why do you believe it's true?
As I said, they had the holy tradition. they took not traditions where there's enough time for them to be infected and corrupted. At the time, there was eyewitnesses around, people around, families around, just like in Isnad, when you have Isnad, and when they know the sayings of Jesus, and then like Matthew would collect the sayings, it'd be verified by the people, and then they put them together.
All right. So just so I understand this claim, you're saying Matthew wrote a gospel about what occurred, right? And then what happened, the Eastern Orthodox Church received this gospel. And then what they did, they got eyewitnesses to verify everything Matthew wrote, to confirm it was true.
At the time, there were the people there that were the early...
No, is that your claim?
No, at
the early church was in existence before Matthew.
Yeah, it was simultaneous. Matthew was after, it was about 50 years.
No. Who wrote the Gospel of Matthew?
Matthew.
And who verified it?
Sacred tradition in the church.
Yes.
And how did they do that verification?
Holy tradition.
Because it came from within them. They were the ones who scribed.
Did they make any errors?
Transferred it.
Now, when you say errors, this is very important. Because you guys, you always come and you speak to Christians. Oh, what version of the Bible you got? Oh, NIV.
What channel are you, my man?
Is it the correct version, NIV, or the Common Bible? Which one? Are we going for? Look at the original Greek. The early church fathers.
What's your name, my friend?
So, Koinai Greek.
What's your name?
George.
George?
We spoke before.
Do me a favour. Put that red herring back in your pocket.
Why?
Because I didn't mention nothing like this. Oh, sorry. You're a straw man. I didn't mention New Testament, King James, NIV, and nothing. It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I'm mentioning it.
Yeah, but it's got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I'm telling you because I know where you're going. The original manuscripts of the New Testament was in Greek. All right? So the Eastern Orthodox Church have the original Greek manuscripts.
So? What's that prove? What does that prove? What if the original's a lie in Greek and you copied a lie?
You said to me, your question was there any mistakes?
No, I said, what if there was a mistake?
There is mistakes.
There is mistakes.
But not doctrinal mistakes. These are scribal errors. Say you've got 4,000 horses on another manuscript that came later on. They've copied and copied and copied because you have thousands and thousands of manuscripts distributed all around the Middle East or around the world, the existing world, the known world at the time. You'll have, at the end of page, 400. He's missed the zeros, for example. It'd be scribal errors, but not doctrinal errors.
Okay, doctrines. Okay, the New Testament.
We know
okay,
no mistakes.
First thing,
we know there's no mistakes because.
But even that's a red herring.
Because we know that oral tradition is passed down to the people.
First thing, the teachings of Christianity do not come out of the Gospels. Yeah, they come out later.
No.
Yeah, they do.
Teaching of Christianity came before.
But I'm not going to.
No, the teachings. No.
Sorry, when did God become a Trinity? When did God become a Trinity? When did the teachings of Trinity come?
Wait a minute. Slowly. The teachings.
I don't want to deflect to that. I don't want to deflect to that.
No, because you don't want to go there.
No, because I don't need to right now.
The teachings.
I don't need to right now. I don't need to right now. I don't need to right now. I don't need to. George. Yorgos.
You go down the road, and when he doesn't like it, he reverses.
Yorgos. No. What it is, I realise.
Why do you reverse back?
Shall I explain? I'll explain. Because we was on a journey, and there was a side stop, and when we stopped there, you wanted to go onto the mountains, right? Well, I want to continue on this journey.
No.
So, yes.
No.
Because my question is a very simple question. Why do you, if the Gospel of Matthew contains historical error, is it still reliable?
That doesn't have. What do you mean by historical error?
Okay, it writes history that didn't. Okay,
it doesn't have historical error.
If it writes history that didn't happen,
even architectural stuff.
If it writes history that didn't happen, then what?
For instance,
there is no. If the Bible, anywhere in the Bible, writes history that did not happen, and you can prove that did not happen, then I will not be a Christian today.
Really? All right. Talk to me about King Herod and the census.
I don't know about King Herod and the census.
Killing the babies and stuff.
Yeah. What about?
Do you know about it?
Yeah. What about? Yeah.
Do you believe that happened?
1 minute. Before you go on to that, you said now we're going on the road. How do I know the Bible's correct? How do I know if there's any errors?
I didn't say that.
Blah blah.
No.
Then you say, well, I'm going off on a side road. What is this? This is a side road.
Yorgos, listen.
No.
My first question was what?
You got to let me ask you questions.
No, but no disrespect. But what you just said was that's a nonsense. Because I'll explain it to you.
What is a nonsense?
What you just said.
What?
Going off onto a side road.
All right.
Because what we're doing is this, right? First of all, we're digging into the New Testament, and then I alienated the Gospel of Matthew, and now we're drilling into Matthew. How is that a side road? We're going down.
All right, because you're going now, right? What you're doing you want to start picking off on other things like Herod and other historical
No, I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
and all this.
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. So, you know it's not a surprise when it happens. All right? Yeah? I'm going to show you that your assumption that the authors of the Gospels were disciples, that Matthew was apparently a disciple of Jesus, that the idea that they witnessed everything they wrote, yeah, and the idea that they were inspired by God have no foundation. I'm going to show you they're false assumptions.
You're entitled to your opinion, of course.
No, I'm going to show you.
Go on then.
Right. So how do I do that? I have to look at the claims made, isn't it? So let's start with the first claim.
Let me ask you something.
Go on.
Before you carry on.
Go on.
Thank you. So we can talk for about, give it a few minutes, but then you've got to allow me to ask you questions as well, yeah?
About what?
Two-way street. Anything
About the historicity, evidences and things like this, which I have a problem with the Quran, the Muslim faith.
No, that's a completely different topic.
These are
I mean, that's not just a side road, that's another journey.
We never agreed we were going to talk about any kind of... We're just having a free...
No.
A free talking discussion.
No. What happened?
We never had any agenda.
No. Do you remember the trajectory? I'll tell you the trajectory. Right. Your initial claim was you love God. And to ignore God, you shouldn't ignore God. And because you believe Muhammad is a false prophet, that means you're not ignoring God because you don't believe it's a message from God. So I allowed that. So we part that up. Now you still claim you love God and you love God by following his message. The next question was, how do you know what his message is? We came to the New Testament. From the New Testament we came to the Gospel of Matthew, and now we're testing the veracity of these Gospels.
Yeah. And
right.
Why
that's the topic.
I want to ask one question when you're ready.
You can ask one question.
About these,
no problem.
About something like that. I'll really appreciate it if you let me. But you finish and
okay. So the idea is that, look...
Now, Herod, and you're just trying to prove to... Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but you want to prove to me there is a historical problem because Herod, and then you're going to go on to...
No, here's my claim. The author of Matthew fabricated history. Yeah? The author of Matthew...
Yeah.
Two things here. This is going to demonstrate a few things.
Yeah.
The author of Matthew definitely was not a disciple of Jesus. That's the first thing I'm going to demonstrate. The second thing I'm going to demonstrate, he falsifies history. And the third thing we're going to demonstrate, it can't be the word of God. And then if it's not the word of God, and it's not eyewitness testimony, and it's not a disciple of Jesus, why do you care what Matthew says?